Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Molweni manene namanene kazi. Nam kele kile nonke kuin kubo yam. Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the next edition of the show. And we have kakulu nam slanje kuba ngom kibelo ndiza kubaba ndiza kuya e bai siza kubonana paya e nangoza jebe o sibukela kunye umlo omkulu pakati u Azinga Fuzile no Romulo Koasicha was in Mexico. I'm very happy today because Saturday I'm flying out to Port Elizabeth, Bai, and then I'm going to watch live the guy everybody thinks is the next big thing in South African boxing, Azinga Golden Boy Fuzile, and he will be taking on the former world title challenger Romulo Koasicha. Now, I don't really want to be in Azinga Fuzile's shoes. Fuzile unomtwalo umkulu Emakweni Ake. He's got a huge load on his shoulders because in the East London border region that Port Elizabeth also forms part of, they've been churning out the world champions in factory fashion starting back in 1990 with Welcome Lita, the former IBF World Junior Featherweight champion, and ending with Zolani Tete, who today is a WBO bantamweight champion of the world. So the fans in East London, border region, they're my kind of fans. They are very passionate fans, they love their boxing, and they're also very knowledgeable fans. They know what they're looking at. But like all good fans, they also can be partisan, and sometimes they can get carried away a little bit. Recently we saw Olisani Ndongeni, who went over to America, took on a very tough Devin Haney. If you looked at some of the comments on social media, he was almost a sure thing to win that fight, but in the end he was widely outpointed. So the question is the hype real of Azinga Fuzile, or is he destined to fail when he steps up into the really big spotlight? Sorry about that. Well, that's the question. Now, if you look at Azinga Fuzile, they've moved in fast. For a guy who's undefeated in 13 fights, 13-0 with 8 knockouts. He won the South African Championship in only his 5th bout against a much more experienced Makbute Sinyabe, made 2 title defenses, and then he went on to bigger and better things. One of them is an impressive stoppage of former Commonwealth champion Chipiwa Munyai, the guy with the best nickname in boxing, the Atomic Spider, as you guys in the UK will also know him as. And then last year he's riding a five-fight knockout streak at the moment. Last year he fought 4 times, and his most impressive victory was a 4th round stoppage of countryman and former IBF junior lightweight champion of the world, or super featherweight as some people call it, Malcolm Bestone Klassen. He stopped him in 4 rounds. So he's been performing well against much more experienced opposition. So far he's checking the form book, and he's also beating the guys he needs to beat. He's ranked number 7 in the world by BoxRec. He's on the verge of cracking into other independent top 10s like Ring Magazine, and he is highly ranked in the IBF, and his handlers are chasing down the IBF world champion Tevin Farmer. The way they're talking, if they get that fight tomorrow, it won't be too soon. So they're expecting to go for the world title this year. He is an awkward sort of boxer puncher. He's talented. He's got the reflexes. He's got the speed to do it. He's got a kind of a sideways stance. He's a southpaw. He likes to pot shot from the outside. He's got nice hooks to the body. He's got a very hard left uppercut from the southpaw stance. His money punch is a straight left that the southpaw throws. He throws it straight down the middle. Also, he can loop it around the gloves if need be. So far, his toughest fight has been against Rofiwa Maemu, who we saw lose to Shavkat Rakimov in Russia recently. He seems sometimes, if he's put under constant pressure, he seems a little bit uncomfortable. His jab is more sort of a range finder, but he flips from the hip. He can sit down on it when he wants to. I would like to see more of that from him. So we don't know what's going to happen if he really gets cracked hard, or if he's down on the cards and he has to scramble to catch up. So that's what we haven't yet seen. So far he just keeps ticking the boxes. Now, is Romulo Koasicha going to provide the final answer on Azinga Fuzile? Now, his legitimacy as an opponent rests on the fact that He lost to future IBF featherweight world champion Lee Selby way back, and in 2015 he challenged for the WBO world featherweight champion against most people's pound for pound #1 in the world right now, Vasil Lomachenko, and in true Mexican fashion, he hung tough and he lasted until the 10th round when Lomachenko finally knocked him out with body punches. Now, Koasicha, style-wise, he's a bit of both. He's your classical boxer in that he has the classical gloves held high, stand-up stance, boxing behind the jab. He's got a good right hand, straight right that Fuzile will have to look out for, and he's got a very good left hook to the body as well. Saw him in his fight against Avila, that he wanted to get the shot at Lomachenko. His body shots killed his opponent. So he's got those things, and as the rounds go by, he changes into your more classical Mexican pressure fighter that swarms his opponents on the ropes and go to the body and then to the head. So he's a bit of both. If we look at him recently, after the Lomachenko fight, that was in 2015, he's only fought 4 times. He lost 2 fights on points. The only recognizable name was former world title challenger Orlando Cruz. He lost widely in points, and he's won his last 2 fights over run-of-the-mill opposition, nothing special. His last fight was in Mexico, a stoppage win in March of last year. So when he steps into the ring at Nangoza Jeve, he's going to be out of the ring for just over a year. So the career momentum is going Fuzile's way clearly, because he's been very active and he's been impressive against a good level of opposition, whereas Koasicha has been treading water since the loss to Vasil Lomachenko. So if Koasicha wants to win this fight, cause a massive upset and throw the apple cart around and revive his career, I can't see him hanging with Azinga Fuzile in the center of the ring. There's only one way he can do this. He's got to get in his chest and he's got to go with that left hook to the body. You know, remember the southpaw stance, he was able to touch Lomachenko a couple of times with that left hook to the body, and let's hope it might have, for him, but it might have a better effect on Fuzile. He's got to make it a scrappy, rough, tough fight. I don't think he's fresh enough. I don't think he's got the reflexes and the speed to stand with Fuzile in the center of the ring. For Azinga Fuzile, he just needs to fight his fight. Keep it in the center of the ring. I would say use his jab more. Watch out for the straight right that comes in from Koasicha, a classic reply to the southpaw. And Lomachenko is not a huge puncher, but he usually stops his opponents simply because he takes everything away from him and keeps pounding him. But he couldn't get Koasicha out of there by punches to the head. He had to go to the body. So that tells me that's where Koasicha's weak spot is. So Fuzile might do well to go and work that body of Koasicha and see what happens. Another thing about Romulo Koasicha is he starts slowly. So without getting reckless, you know, if Azinga Fuzile can just blow him out of there, it will make a statement. If I am Azinga Fuzile, I'd go for broke in the first round without emptying the entire tank. Just see if he can take advantage of that slow start of Koasicha and then settle into a boxing rhythm. One mistake that Azinga Fuzile does make is sometimes he overcommits on his punches and he throws himself off balance. His reflexes are such that he's been able to correct himself. That's something that Koasicha might be looking at, draw him in and wait to counter when he misses. But we'll all see on the night, and that's why they fight the fights, you know, as Doug Fisher always says. Prediction, I don't think Romulo Koasicha at this stage of his career has enough left to really answer the serious questions that we have about Azinga Fuzile. I think that's only going to happen when he takes on Tevin Palmer for a title or meets somebody like Shavkat Rakhimov in the meantime. I don't think Koasicha is going to give us the answers to that. It's more a question of how Azinga Fuzile is going to win. And a lot of people have compared him to Prince Naseem Hamed. I think he's more to me like the former middleweight champion Sergio Martinez with that sideways stance. I think Koasicha will try. He's also got some Japanese ancestry from his granddad's side besides being Mexican. So he's from a long fighting line. I think he's going to try and make it a fight, but I think Azinga, he's got the momentum. He's too young, he's too fresh, his reflexes and his hand speed and foot speed is too quick. I expect him to gain the upper hand after 2 rounds or so, and I think around about the 7th or 8th round, he's going to go to the body, among other things, and either the referee or Koasicha's corner will pull him out. So my prediction is Azinga Fuzile by around 8th-round stoppage. But it's a great privilege to be able to be there and take a look at Azinga Fuzile for myself. And there's also a great undercard of a South African title fight between Pilo and Bonchana having a rematch with Koasicha, and we also get a look at top prospect Sive Namchinga. So Desi Bonane and Getlawa and Angoza Jebe, Pakamisa Izanla.